to Divine Decode, the space where we dive deep into soul level truths and the sacred wisdom that brings us back to our truest selves. I'm your host, Pragya Malvia, and today I have someone very special joining us. We are welcoming the radiant Jennifer Pilates, a globally known intuitive spiritual mentor and the voice behind the top rated Empowered Within podcast. Jennifer's journey from physical healing to soul transformation is a living embodiment of what it means to truly align with your inner power. If you have ever felt like your mind, body, and spirit were moving in three different directions, this conversation is your invitation to realign, reset, and remember who you really are. So settle in, take a breath, and let's dive in. Thank you for being here, Jennifer.
Thank you for so much for having me. I'm very honored to be here today.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And Jennifer, you often say that alignment, it isn't just an idea. It's a frequency that we live in. And I truly love that. It's such beautiful thing to say. And what does a true alignment feel like in every life? And how can someone, tell when they're drifted out of it?
What an excellent question. And I feel in this day and time that we're living in, it's so important because we're getting pulled in so many different directions. And there's so much going on around us that's distracting us from potentially our path. And so, one of the easiest ways to understand if you are in alignment, which can also mean in flow in that moment, is how are you feeling? If you're feeling agitated, if you're feeling cranky, if you're tired, if you're exhausted, you're definitely not in alignment. That's your body, that's your spirit and your soul saying, we need a minute. We need to rest. We need to ground. We need to realign to be able to move forward. And it's very simple and sometimes we take it for granted and we try to like push through the tiredness or push through the crankiness. If we just get this done, it'll be done. It'll be off my list. And that's the worst thing that you can do is to force to hustle. And the best thing that you can do when you have those moments is to stop, take a breath, take a moment, get up and actually physically change your environment, even if it's just walking out of the room. Doing that in and of itself sometimes can help you realign. But taking a moment to catch your breath, walking outside and just letting the sun hit you for a few moments and letting that light frequency come through your body is allowing your body to realign and heal in that moment. And it's that simple. Stepping outside if you can and it's warm and being barefoot and grounding with the earth underneath of you. I always like to get up and move, have a sip of water, go wash my hands. I have little bells that I have that I will ring to clear the energy pre and post, depending on what I'm doing, or podcast, of course, before and after. So there's lots of little things that you can do that are very easy to then guide yourself. And I would say one of the most important things, and right now especially, a lot of my clients are highly sensitive empaths, intuitives, and I would say when you are called to rest, when you are feeling exhausted, and for a highly sensitive person or an empath, it's not the regular, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. It's the frequency of the earth that is changing. It is a solar flare that is coming through your system and you're feeling it. You really need to take a moment and rest. And an example earlier today that happened to me, I was on my way home and I physically like could not get out of the car. And I sat there and I did a small Reiki session on myself. I put on my Reiki music and 10 minutes later I felt like I slept for an hour. And so there's lots of little tricks that you can do to help guide yourself back into alignment so that you can be the best version for yourself first.
That's really beautiful, and I totally agree with whatever you said. Our body, it gives those signs that we are actually out of sync. Also, for listeners, what is that one early sign that people just tend to overlook? something so subtle that quietly whispers that you're out of sync and you need to work upon it. So, anything
Mhm.
that you would like to point out?
I would say that moment when you're feeling frustrated and you feel like you're banging your head against the wall because nothing is lining up, nothing's working right. That's a sign from the universe to stop, back away from whatever it is you're doing, driving, whatever it is, and take a moment because you're being asked to be redirected in that moment. There's something that you're missing that the universe is actually trying to point out to you. And because you're in at that point in time, most likely 90% of the time, you're more in your logical brain, your heart's trying to come through. The energies of the universe are trying to come through. So those moments where all of a sudden you go, oh, I'm so frustrated. Like the computer's not working, the phone's not working. Oh, I can't write this email. Stop, get up, walk away. It's those moments where you just feel blocked and you're usually blocked for a sense of protection because you've gone off kilter and the universe is trying to guide you, pivot you back onto that alignment path.
That is actually such a powerful reframe that you just shared. And I am
Well,
so sure that a lot of us, even I, totally agree with whatever you said, and that's totally relatable. And thank you for sharing that with us. Also, you began your journey through physical healing with Pilates, right? I'm curious, how did that evolve into the deeper, more spiritual work you now do as a mentor and as an intuitive guide?
it's been 2 decades, 2 decades of spiritual awakenings, 2 decades of learning to be able to trust myself and to trust the universe and to lean in. And so it started with a car accident. And through the car accident, um, I was guided to Pilates for a rehabilitative program. And Pilates is all about aligning your body, mind, and spirit, and very much starting with breath work and aligning your breath work with your body. And a lot of people don't think about, they think breath work is something very new that came about, the last so many years. And with Pilates, I mean, Pilates has been around since the 1800s. Breath work is very huge with Pilates, connecting your body and your mind to then equal a movement allows the energy to move through your body, allows you as a spirit to feel safe in your body, which a lot of us have not, especially if you're a highly sensitive person, an empath. You generally have had some sort of traumas that have gone on in younger years. And you have to learn to be safe in your body, learn that it's your temple and your vessel, and find that empowerment within. And it takes time. And so for me, it took years. Pilates was the stepping stone. I call it, it's the gateway. All of my clients generally start out coming to me for Pilates, and it in and of itself evolved into spiritual readings and Reiki energy healing and coaching. So it's over the years, my practice itself has expanded. It wasn't something that I said, oh, I'm going to be, an intuitive reader. I'm going to be an animal communicator. I'm going to do all these things. It just naturally, those gifts were showing up along my path. And so I always ask someone when they say, geez, I don't know my purpose. I don't know this or that. When you go through your path of life, there's always breadcrumbs along the way. And so I was always a very spiritual person. I was always into astrology, crystals, having readings. I was just, you name it. I was always very in tune. And it just took time to understand that they were gifts. It took time to understand that they were part of me and that these gifts were meant to be shared. And then it takes time to understand what is the best way to show up for the world and to truly be able to help in a really compassionate way, authentic way is important for me, in a way that people aren't necessarily uncomfortable. A lot of people can get uncomfortable with woo-woo style things, and some people look at me and go, "Oh my gosh, you're so woo-woo," which is a word I can't stand actually. And I don't feel that. I feel I bring a practicality to healing and to aligning body, mind, and spirit so that people feel comfortable with the intuitive gifts that they have and that they embody and understand and teach how to use them and how that truly is your superpower.
Thank you for sharing that with us, first of all. And it must have been such a raw and honest unfolding in itself. Also, your journey, it is truly a testament to the saying that we often say, right? That pain often it becomes the portal to purpose. So your journey is truly a testament to that, and it's so beautiful that it is. Um, Also, you work with so many people on rewriting their inner stories, which is such deep work in itself. What's one recurring belief or narrative you've noticed that keeps people stuck or, small spiritually or emotionally? How does that happen?
Absolutely. I think one of the ones that always stands out is that lack of self-worth feeling, because a lot of us have been programmed through our lives that we're supposed to self-sacrifice and take care of everyone else first, and then you can take care of you. And so that is a huge one to reprogram for people to understand that it is not selfish to put yourself first. It's very selfless because the moment that you take care of you, you have so much more to give to those around you. And the moment that you focus on your own healing and working through your own traumas, you're now healing up to 6, 7 generations behind you. You're also the ripple effect in healing to all of those around you in your day to day life right now. So, by taking care of yourself and healing yourself first, you're doing such an incredible service for those around you. And I think that that's one of the biggest ones that people struggle with in understanding. Um, and then the second one always generally has to do around finances and being worthy of abundance and being worthy of being taken care of, being worthy of having more than enough and not feeling like you have to settle. Because again, there was a program throughout society that ran as well, if you have just enough, you're supposed to go to work, do a 9 to 5 job, go to high school, go to college, get married, have 2.5 kids, have your 401k. There's all these programs that have been running forever and ever and ever within all of us in our cultures. And yes, they're a little different from culture to culture, but honestly, the essence at the very core of it is very similar. And so the key is to not only work with the mind, it's really getting into the root cause in the subconscious. And when we can get into that root cause in the subconscious and remove that root, then we can refill that with the positive, and then you're free. And then you can truly, truly feel good about taking care of yourself first, about understanding that that's self love and understanding the worthiness that you have here in the world, which allows you to not only give, but understanding that receiving is equally as important.
That actually hits the heart, and you know, I again totally agree with you because healing it does not always, mean like just fixing ourselves forcefully, or it needs that certain amount of compassion and calmness and patience with our own selves. I totally agree with you on that. Um, Also, as an intuitive medium, you help people tune into their inner wisdom in a world that's just so loud. And what would you say to someone who is struggling to hear that still small, but they are just either not listening to it or are just struggling to hear that?
I would say right now, in the world, in the time that we're living in, I don't want someone to blame themselves and feel that they're doing something wrong because one moment they can tune in and the next minute they can't. Right now, in this moment in time, throughout our world, there is a chaotic energy that is out there. And so one can either look at it as, oh my gosh, I can't ever focus and how am I ever going to get this? Or you can step back out of the energy, realign, acknowledge it and say, okay, this isn't me. Okay, how can I work around this? Does that mean I'm changing up the physical environment where I work? Does that mean I'm grounding and doing a different practice? Right now, we're all being called to do things a little bit different. We're all being called to step up and step more into our light, and not only step into it, but to shine it and to share that with others. And so it's hard right now. I mean, it's hard for me. I mean, if I'm taking a nap in my car before I walk into the house, there's a real struggle out there in this world to stay grounded. And that's the key. That's the key in any given day, in any given century and year. But again, right now, we're all being challenged, incredibly so. And the key is truly to look at what feels good around you, what lights you up, and anything that does not feel good, any person, place, or thing that does not light you up, the universe is asking you to make decisions so that you can, for the best of your ability, surround yourself with people, places, and things that do light you up, that you have that sort of safe haven almost, right? Like that cozy nook that you know that you can go to and go, okay, I can shut my door and the family can be outside and they can all be crazy. But in here, I can have a moment of peace. I can go sit in my car for a moment and find a moment of peace to understand that, okay, this is a passing energy. Maybe it is a solar flare. Maybe it is, more than the usual, which we're being combated with so many things right now. I don't want anyone to say, oh my gosh, I'm a mess on my spiritual path. I would say this, if you're saying that you're a mess on your spiritual path, I'm very proud of you, because I've never known a person to have an easy spiritual path or a beautifully golden road of a path. Not myself, not anyone. So if you are a mess and you're feeling it all, I I applaud you. The key is just listening to yourself, though, taking the time out and calling back your energy and being okay with healthy boundaries. Because right now, again, they're more important than ever when the world feels that it's spinning so fast right now. And the truth is that just this past week, the world was spinning faster than it ever has. So again, it's not just you. You're not crazy. It is the earth. It is the energies. It is physically Gaia, Mother Earth, who is letting us know that things are shifting and they're shifting very quickly. And the more that we can just lean in and kind of go with the flow and keep those healthy boundaries, I don't want to say the easier it's going to be, because I'm not convinced that this is going to be easy, but the better we're going to be able to support one another in our spiritual community and help one another and go, like, I had a girlfriend call me. She's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm exhausted. I can't function today. You need to have people around you that are like you, that are going through it. So you're not crazy. So that you're like, oh yeah, me too. Okay, must have been a solar flare. Oh, okay, there was an earthquake. There's all this stuff. And the thing is there's always going to be something. It's how and what do you use in your toolbox? And I always say that's the first place you need to start, is making your spiritual toolbox, that all of the things that are going to help and support you throughout your journey. And sometimes you're going to remove certain things, and then sometimes you're going to add new things to them. And that's okay. Your journey is your journey. But what's most important right now is acknowledging that this is chaotic energy time. And the more that we can do what we can to take care of ourselves and ground, the better that we'll be in the long run, to be able to support not only ourselves, but everyone around us.
How beautifully you've put it through, and I love how you're, helping people recalibrate and reconnect with themselves and with the world around them and the spiritual journeys of theirs. Also, there are so many tough days, when people, they are feeling off track today, they're listening to themselves. But there are also those tough days when everything, it just feels chaotic. And how do we hold on to that alignment, or maybe even return to it without judgment?
hmm Again, that goes back to self-love and valuing self. The moment that you feel something isn't right, the moment that you don't feel right, you know what it feels like when you feel cranky and ick. Okay, what are you going to do to get yourself out of that? Because that's your responsibility. And that could be taking a walk, that could be going for a swim, that could be just laying down for 5 minutes listening to Reiki music. There's lots of different things that you can do. What's most important is that you choose something that you like. You choose something that aligns with you, because what works for me might not always work for you. And so I know one of the things that I work with a lot of my clients on is twice a month on the new moon and the full moon, I offer Reiki distant healing to recalibrate, to reset, to realign. So it's a nice check in for us all, if nothing else, at least twice a month on the new moon and the full moon, so that we know, okay, we're going to cleanse and clear our chakras. We're going to realign everything. We're going to take those 30 minutes and set aside just for myself on that new moon, on that full moon. The beauty is that it's Reiki distant healing. So there's no Zoom, there's no tech. All you have to do is show up. You sign up and then you make a quiet space for yourself. And a lot of times people have told me that that carries them through, 2 weeks, and we have, then we have the full moon or the new moon, then 2 more weeks, and that helps them to build their healthy boundary with themselves, with their own energy, and to understand how it feels being in alignment versus not being in alignment. And so a lot of people have said, that's sort of been their biggest thing in their toolbox to help them along the way, so that they're very clear on what it feels like to be in alignment, and then they know the moment that they shift out. So it's that clarity and that groundedness that those sessions help bring people.
That is such a great reminder. And yes, it's so beautiful that you've put it through on this platform and on this way. Um, Jennifer, thank you so much for reminding us all that our deepest power, it isn't something that we need to earn or search for. It's already within us. It's just there. When our body, mind, and spirit, it finally begin speaking the same language, we stop chasing wholeness and start remembering it. Thank you for sharing it with us today. And to our listeners, if something stirred in you today, don't ignore it. That's your soul nudging you back to your truth. You're not broken, you're becoming. And listen deeply to what Jennifer just shared. She has said exactly that. And until next time, I'm Pragya Malvya, your host. Stay aligned, stay awakened, and as always, trust the divine in your design. Sending you love and light, signing off with a full heart. Thank you so much.